Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us about Miss Silicon Valley. Why did you compete in it and what's your experience like?
Yeah, I am this year, so 2025 Miss Silicon Valley, and that is a pageant title that's tied with the Miss America organization. I was first introduced to pageantry growing up in Texas. I had a friend who was a senior while I was a freshman in high school, and she had done the Miss Chinatown Houston pageant. So when I came to California, I competed in the Miss Asian Global pageant, and that's where I met Ronnie. And I decided after that pageant, which was also a cultural pageant, I decided that I really wanted to compete in the Miss Chinatown USA pageant. So after my first pageant with MAG, Miss Asian Global, I was like, okay, now I really want to take this pageant prep a little bit more seriously. I had done my first pageant, so I was like, hey, I think I know what kind of pressures and what kind of feelings and emotions I was gonna have. So I was like, I just need to do this again before I get onto the Miss Chinatown USA stage. So that's where I found out about this like local competition. And at that competition, they were giving out the Miss Silicon Valley title, Miss San Francisco, and Miss Bay Area. Like I had my sights set on Miss Chinatown USA, but I truly went there just wanting to learn to work through my nerves
Mhm.
and perform the best that I could. I was especially there to work on my violin talent because I had not played violin in front of people in such a, I guess, like more entertainment focused setting, which is what like the pageant talent is like, to be honest. Yeah, and then I won the Miss Silicon Valley title, so it's been really cool because I never thought I would ever get to compete in a mainstream pageant organization. So I feel incredibly grateful to have the chance to compete in Miss California this June. Um, and hopefully Miss Chinatown USA will be a pageant that I can compete in the future.
Oh, so you're saving Miss Chinatown USA for maybe next year, and then this summer you'll be doing Miss California. And then if you become Miss California, then you go to Miss America.
Yes, exactly.
That's
And
exciting.
yeah, I'm super excited. And it's not that I'm trying to save Miss Chinatown USA, but it's just that actually a lot of the pageant systems, I believe, have like strict requirements. And once you become a title holder in their pageant system, they really want you to carry out the full year only as
Mhm.
that, like only representing their organization.
Mhm. So if you wanted to compete both at the same year, you have to only pick one if you are a title holder.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know that. No one
Yeah.
ever said anything about this.
I didn't know either. I had no idea. And I didn't know until after I won the Miss Silicon Valley title.
Mhm.
And someone had told me that. And I was like, okay, I guess it's not within
Mhm.
my control.
That's just so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
But how do you juggle all these pageantry stuff? Because you have to practice walking, figure out your dress, everything. That's like a whole commitment. That's like a whole full-time job right there. But then you're also a PhD student.
Yeah, so I will admit I never feel like I'm doing everything to like the best to like my 100% because
Mhm.
I feel like I just have so many competing interests
Mhm.
that are like competing for my time.
Mhm.
I think there's like a couple of things that I do to try to balance it. One is to just figure out what my priorities are.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just has to be school because at the end of the day, school definitely is still my number one focus. And even pageantry, actually, especially Miss America, like they also want you to be a superstar in school. And
Mhm.
one of their four pillars is scholarships. It is something that they also like support you and support as one of your main focuses. But sometimes if there's a pageant competition coming up, then obviously in the few weeks leading up to that, or hopefully in the few months leading up to that, I'll be able to prioritize that training more.
Given that you're at Stanford, they always say that we are just trying to make things work and we're like ducks swimming, trying to just stay
Yeah.
afloat. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you're good at just trying to balance everything already.
Yes. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I have experienced it for sure.
And speaking of competing with other girls and you feel like they probably are going through the same experience and feelings. How are you feeling about competing with people you know from previous pageants?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna meet people that I know at MAG because, or sorry, at Miss California because at our local competition, there were three titles that were given out, so I already know those two girls who will also be competing with me at Miss California. And I think it's really awesome. I think my first, like when I was at MAG, I was definitely very nervous and very scared because I think it's like your first pageant. You don't really know what it takes to win. And I think a lot of us also maybe had our hearts set really on wanting to do well or place well. But I think after going through my first pageant experience and realizing that truly going through, like putting yourself through that experience is such a win. I feel like I just genuinely want the best for my like pageant sisters and like my fellow like competitors, and like I don't think I really have that big of a pressure to feel like I have to win this thing. And
Mhm.
it would be amazing to obviously be crowned Miss California. It would be amazing to be able to represent California and especially being a Chinese American and to also represent what I'm like all about, which is like diversity in STEM and also like encouraging women and minoritized identities to pursue careers that are like powerful and allow them to have like independence in society. But I think also like any other of my sisters also have very incredible platforms that they're wanting to share, and it would just be amazing to see any one of them crowned. And even if I'm not crowned, I will still get to do the community service work that I want to do because pageantry has helped me to just develop that in that personal mission in myself.
That's so great to hear. And you mentioned about being in STEM, and it's not easy, especially a person of color and as a woman, it's really difficult. Even probably at labs, you're probably the only person on the team who's a girl, and everyone else is just looking at you. And maybe there are times where people will think, oh, why are you here? What's been like encouraging for you? Or is there a particular person who helped you kept moving forward?
To be honest, for the longest time, I didn't really want to have a long career in STEM because I did find it very boring, to be extremely blunt. And also, I felt like I didn't fit in because I do feel like I don't want to say I have a pageant personality, but I really appreciate entertainment and media and fashion and the performing and creative arts. And I felt like I couldn't like express that part of myself in engineering without getting discriminated against. And so I think that was something that was really difficult for me. And so for the longest time, I actually really was like, I'm just gonna get my degree and then I'm gonna bounce and go do something else. Actually, surprisingly, I think pageantry has really motivated me to keep moving forward because after starting pageantry and being around a lot of really incredible women like you, who are also, in my opinion, actually very able to be very confident in who they are and embrace like all sides of themselves, made me realize, oh, I can also embrace other sides of myself, but also be really good at my career.
That's so amazing to hear that. I did thought you were just gonna go through the whole academia route because I feel like everyone who already has a PhD, you invested so much time in it. And there are people who end up choosing corporate because they said it's boring or they feel like you're doing the same thing every day and you can't really pursue other fun interests and you're just stuck on campus from like the very beginning of your life till the very end of your life.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that you're branching out and then using pageantry to keep yourself going in the STEM field. Then what would you say to girls who are interested in STEM, especially Aero Astro? What would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being the boring researcher if that's just what your personality truly is. Like, you really just love that so much, and all of your hobbies are like revolving around engineering and STEM, then that's great. Like your professional career is definitely going to be so much easier for you to navigate because that's like innately who you are. I don't think that's how most of the female engineering population is. I do think that we do have a personality that a lot of us tend to mask in order to be able to advance in our careers. So I think for that group of girls specifically, because I definitely like my younger self, and even now, like I identify with that group, I would say to just hang in there and to really try to see your career through, or at least like at every step, if you don't have the next part of your career figured out, then just try your hardest to stay focused and make the most of all of the opportunities, like professional opportunities that you have in front of you. You never know when that's going to come in handy in the future, and having those skills is always better than not having them.
That's really great advice, given that I've seen so many roles online. They're looking for people in communication, but the company is maybe a bio firm. And if you don't have any previous knowledge about anything in the field, then it's really hard to do the job because you have to know your company to represent it. And a lot of skills are just so transferable. So it's nice
Yes.
to at least have skills and then you can use it later. These are all the questions I have for right now, but I do want to give you like a short advertisement time if you want to say anything to the audience about cheering up for you for Miss California, your whole pageant journey, and also finishing up your PhD.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all so much for listening and tuning in. I'm always so grateful whenever people want to listen to whatever I have to say. And I will say for my Miss California journey, I am fundraising to be able to go for the entire duration of the competition. And I have a GoFundMe link, which I'll send over. But besides that, I'd say you can connect with me on my Instagram, which I'm sure I'll send Ronnie all of that information and she can link it below. And truly, I am very happy to talk about anything pageantry related, anything STEM related, anything just life related, and especially if you feel you have a little bit of sort of internal dilemma between what you should do in life. I really enjoy talking about that, especially if it's about you feeling like you don't fit in for a career that you want to do. Hit me up, okay? I'm really excited to compete in Miss California, and hopefully, you guys will follow along in that journey. The competition will be June 16th through the 21st of this year.
That's wonderful. June 16th, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're already my Miss California.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet, Ronnie.